Hi, it's Monica Dubé, and this is my new podcast or live video. And what we're doing, it's called Healing the Minds of Women Leaders. And today I have an incredibly special guest who I met on Clubhouse last week who blew me away with her story about how she is changing the face of her business. And I'm not going to tell you much more. Like, she has just incredibly changed her whole business and how she deals with people. And she's coming into her light as a leader in her company, but with feminine energy. And what I wanted to share about that, and I can't wait for her to come, her name is Jenny Room Natyshak. Okay. She's the CEO of a dealership, a Chevy dealership in Canada. And I cannot wait for you to meet her because her energy is amazing. And we're going to get into what it meant to her to truly start to work on herself and have transformation occur in her life. And also what she saw that so many women were leaving corporations, they were leaving situations that felt very male dominated. She said often she was the only woman in the room. And I'm not going to get into it too much, but I want you to know she's coming very soon. And we're going to talk today about this. Now, why does it matter? Why does it even matter? Here she is. I'm so excited. Hey, Jenny. There she is.
Eat it.
There you are. Oh, great. I just introduced you.
Okay.
Getting situated. Great. I just introduced you as an incredible woman leader who is defying all this normal way of doing things, like leaving your corporation when you start to have your experiences of waking up and going through whatever you have to go through, to really elevate yourself. But I want you to just first tell me what it was like. And first of all, welcome. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm good. I just ran in the house and uh, you got me on my adrenaline, so that's going to be good. I just finished work and trying to get home. The days that I say I'm going to leave early, yeah, I just shouldn't say that out loud because it's some customer or something always that gets in the way. But I'm really, really excited that I said yes to you and that I'm here for this opportunity to share a little bit and answer questions that you have. I have been in just a little bit to tell you about a little bit about myself is that I've been in the automotive industry for 22 years. I'm going on 23 years. And I love it. And I actually just really started loving it the last 7-10 years when I really started tuning in and tapping into what kind of leader that I want to be for me, that is aligned with my morals and my values and my femininity. I'm around men all day long. So I recognize that I was really trying to lead like a man and be at the boardroom with the men, and that wasn't me. And I put so much armor on, and I put so much it just was, I was trying to be who I thought everybody wanted me to be. There was not even any pressure from anybody. It was all the stuff that I did to myself. And really, when I started putting, my first thing I did, I think the day that you and I met, Monica, I told you, and I shared in a clubhouse room actually, that I had a nervous breakdown, and it lasted one day because that's all I have time for. And I really just stopped. I had to put a hard stop at I was doing because it wasn't sustainable. Like what I thought doing and all the things I was trying to be to everybody else and all these balls up in the air. I didn't have a Jenny ball. I didn't even have my own ball up in the air. So I just dropped all the balls that day, and I really started taking to put myself up on my priority list. And then when I did that, things just slowly, but it's practice. When you're conditioned to do something the same way and you think that you're doing the right thing, it takes practice to unlearn a lot of things that I learned within myself and within my role at the dealership as a part owner and general manager and leader of a team. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. That is so amazing. And I'm so glad you jumped right into the story, because I really wanted to ask you, like, what it was like for you to try to fit in, and that time where you went, oh my God, I can't keep doing it this way. I'm not a man. I have my own energy. And you had neglected yourself. And this is a big thing that women do. They neglect themselves. I know I did that in my marriage. Neglected myself, thinking I was going to, be the greatest mom, the greatest wife, and finally realized, but what about me? And so, yeah. So tell me more about that nervous breakdown that lasted one day. And what was your revelation? What did you come away with when you had that experience? And
Well,
I know you've also done on some spiritual work on yourself up till then as well, right?
yes. So
Yeah.
I'll go back to that day. I had been the little breadcrumbs that the universe can put in front of you. I was inquiring about and kind of learning what a coach did and what that meant to me putting myself and investing in myself. So I started working with a coach right away. And the first question that she asked me was, what are my core desires? And then I really was, I don't even answer them. I could tell you what my husband's are, my children are, half my employees, but I could not answer mine because I was being of service, and I really just want to be of service. And I was being of service to everybody else. But I really, when I look back at it, although at the time I thought I was a superwoman, and yeah, look at me go, and yay, and almost patting myself on the back because I kept all these balls up in the air for so long, I went, oh my gosh, I'm leading with such it's from an empty cup. Like how can I be of service when I'm not taking care of myself? How can I be? I just started asking myself different questions and really like looking at the definition of success as what I was taught and what I learned and what I had to be was grind, 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 push. It's hard work. It has to be hard work, or it's not, or you're not successful. That was how I was brought up. And then now, fast forwarding, now that I'm leading from a full cup of abundance, I've got my knee-jerk reaction down at bay. I've got and again, it's a lot of practice. It's not overnight that this happens, but I really am just feel so much. I feel like I'm leading with a full cup because my mornings are mine. I do not put anything else on them. I don't jump onto my emails. I don't jump up into anything until I've done my morning routine. So that's key, is what I've done. And I learned that through my first coach. And then I had a meditation coach. Like, I really invested in myself to get this. And as much energy and learning, because I love learning and I love growing, that I did within my company, I did the same with the same energy to myself. I knew if I was going to start learning to meditate and really get this habit down pat in the mornings, I was going to invest in myself. And then I had somebody keeping me accountable. I had somebody, giving me that encouragement to really get that going. And now I'm working with a different coach. So I'm always investing in myself so that I can be the best leader that I can be and the best wife that I can be, and filling my cup up so that I'm leading with love instead of ego, instead of reactionary. I respond more. Like, so many things that we could talk for hours. You and I did the first time we met. We got on the phone and we just talked. Like, I didn't even look at the time. Felt like 10 minutes, but I think it was like an hour and a half or something like that.
Right. We had so many things in common. So
Yeah.
let me take you back to this this idea of, I think the reason that, I'm going to just put this out there, that the reason that your nervous breakdown was one day was because you had been preparing for it. Like, you had already had a spiritual path. You were working A Course in Miracles, or you knew, about it. And you had some classes in that. And it seems like that was a part of your past, so that once you hit the bottom, you were like, oh, I think this is, maybe this is my next step. I don't know. Is that how it was for you?
It was exactly like that. And then just give myself that time to breathe and gave myself that time to reset and drop balls. I really started going back to the things that did serve me well, the things that did make my heart sing, the things that did bring me joy. It was almost like I was a robot for many, many years, just go, 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 do, that I forgot to be, and I forgot to feel, and I forgot it was like all masculine energy, where I just knew the task. I knew I had to get to it. I knew that that's, if I'm going to compete with these boys and I'm going to be equal partner one day, I gotta do all these things, even though I had the kids at home that still needed my attention and my husband at home that still need my attention. I had nothing left when I got home because I was giving it all. And it was almost like, I want to say robot, like it was like I was just doing the same thing over and over, running around, and like it was a blur. Like I wasn't feeling, I wasn't being, I wasn't listening to my intuition. I wasn't listening to my body. Like your body can tell you so much when you're consciously, when you're aware of even making a decision. Like, how does that feel in my body? I started really just coming home. That's the only way I can explain it. I just really started coming home to who Jenny was, who I thought everybody else wanted me to be, or what I even thought of myself that I needed to be in order to be successful in this very male oriented industry. Even with family, like it doesn't even matter. I know I was a tomboy. Growing up, and I have a twin brother, and I've always surrounded myself, and it's comfortable for me. Like it's not like I never. And when it comes to being a child and really started going back with my inner child and having a her too as of late, that's something new that I'm doing with my spirituality and my growing, is that even little children, they don't see gender difference. They don't see, no, we're climbing the tree. Jen's climbing the tree too. Like there was a lot of it I made up in my own mind though. Like a lot of it, I think it was just the story I was telling myself. And when I let go of the story and I let go of being a victim, of just really coming home into my heart and coming and dropping from my head to my heart, I just returned to who I am. And now I don't think, I know I'm not working any less hours. I'm probably working more. I do not feel burnt out. I do not feel drained. I do not feel hustle, hustle, hustle. And that's like, I'm going to be success. No, I look for ease and flow. I look for all of the it's just shifted and really shifted lately. Like there was this like big aha that Jenny, you have to stop thinking and being looking at external environment, victim, external energy. There's some negativity out there. It can be sometimes a very stressful, toxic environment. There's customers, there's employees. I just really put my love bubble on so much because that's what Jenny does. And that's what I do. And that's what I've come home to. Negativity just bounces off and returns to, and then I can keep vibrating at this level. I no longer my light. I used to dim my light to make other people comfortable because they're like, Jenny's up here and they don't know what to do with it. Able to make people around me comfortable. I just unapologetically am Jenny now. And I know there's more growth and there's more, like saying yes to you to do this. I would never have said yes without this new, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this so that I can be of service. If one woman is listening to this interview, this live with us today, and we can give them a little bit of something that, oh, okay, I don't have to be burnt out. Because that was a story I told myself too. I'm burnt out, I'm burnt out, I'm burnt out. Well, keep saying that, you're going to be, even if you even have a day off. It's just recharging and just asking myself different questions, and it's working. Like I feel like me again.
It's so amazing. And you actually, what I loved about what you said is that you knew you had to get help, so you invested in yourself. You invested in that growth. So many women think they can't afford it, they're not worth it. But if you don't, think about the cost.
I would have been doing the same thing.
You'd just be stuck, right? I mean, nothing changes until you make a true investment in your growth. Yes. And boy, 90% of what goes on is already embedded in your subconscious anyway. You might as well start to do the work
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Um, when the one thing I really loved about when we talked was that you shared that so many women are leaving the workplace now. They're leaving corporations because they don't feel heard or acknowledged or understood or valued. Now, for you, your message is different. Tell me about your message to women so that, maybe there's another message here. Maybe you don't have to be
Yeah.
that way.
So I within the investment and the there, I love group coaching. I love collaborating and really sharing and being authentic with other women who may be at the same spot. And I would be I've gone on many retreats, and I'm at these retreats with these powerful, beautiful women that have climbed the ladder and they are CEO, or they have come as far as they could at whatever industry that they're at. The same message, and I bet you 80%, 90% probably of these women that I still am in contact with today have quit their corporate job to be an entrepreneur and to go into business for themselves because they didn't like the hours. They were getting to the burnout or already burnt out.
Yeah.
Didn't they didn't think that there was another way. And I'm not going to say that I didn't contemplate as these women are taking this journey, but I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I love my job and I love being a leader and I love. So what I did instead is I made the decision to stay. I'm going to stay within my company. I'm going to stay at this high level of leadership. I just have to take care of myself, and I have to do it a different way because what way I'm doing it isn't working. So I made the decision to stay. And in making the decision to stay, but not like this,
Mm.
nothing really around me changed. I changed. I changed the way I thought about it. I changed. I got out of victim mode. I got into what is going to, there's so much ease and flow. The same stress is there, the same amount of hours, like I was saying. I just look at it different. I look at it and I make decisions with my intuition as I know myself more because I got to know me. And like I said, I returned to what how who Jenny is, not who somebody else wants me to be or who I think somebody else wants me to be, because I think that was a made up story in my head too. It was just like as imposter syndrome or something, having to think that I have to do this. Well, how authentic is that? How can you be of service when you're manipulating, calculating all, and it's all, I call it the monkey mind. That's what my first coach taught me. I called it like, it's just all this thoughts in here, and
Mm-hmm.
just stop and breathe and just stop and think and just stop, like just feel what it is like. And if anybody can get that, there's lots of things that like I said, that it, and I'm still practicing every day. It's not, I can tell you that it's not ease and flow every single day, but it's a lot more, many more days than not. And those are the days that I want to go into the dealership, and those are what I'm hoping that I can get my message out there, my story out there, to show you can stay, but you don't have to be burnt out. You can stay, but you don't have to try to be anything other than who you are. We need that feminine energy in the dealerships, in the lawyers' offices, in any industry. There's that beautiful balance, and I found my balance of masculine energy and feminine energy, and there's not one better than the other. So there's no ego, there's no judgment, there's no anything. We work so hard as women to get to the board table and climb up that ladder, and I'm seeing everybody leaving. So I'm like, no,
Yeah.
how do we get people to stay? Just show them how to do it in a different way. That
Yeah, fantastic. Because I think that a lot of what I'm thinking is that, and I'm being pulled, I think, into executive leadership and helping executives, and it's a surprise to me, but I just keep seeing it that I'm going to be doing that soon. So when you said stay and did you say transform it from where you are?
yeah, just change the way that you show up, and that's only
Yeah,
by going inside that you can do that, because you're
it's
not
true.
going to have any expectations of any expectations of anything else changing. Like I said, the hours, the job, the deadlines, the stress, that's all there every single day. That's a given, that's a constant. The only thing that really changed
Hmm.
was the way I showed up. I showed up with a full cup instead of a depleted cup. I showed up with my authentic self instead of somebody I thought I should be. I just showed up different, and it is such ease and flow. Like, yes, stressful situations still happen, but I deal with them in such a different way because I'm not just reacting to everything that comes my way. I'm responding. I'm it's just a different, it's hard to put in words. And I think this is the first time I'm putting it in words. So again, thank you for this growth opportunity for me to be able to articulate it. But it's just showing up. I'm just showing up different.
Well, that's what's great about the conversation, because it's in the conversation, I believe, that transformation actually happens, because everything we do is in language. It's how we express it. So I love what you shared. I love that you said you transformed your relationship and you showed up as your authentic self, which is, of course, what Brene Brown has been teaching for about a decade or so now. And it's like, show up as yourself, have the hard conversations. Have you noticed that people around you respond to you differently because of you being a different, being more authentic? And is it harder or what?
It's not harder. It's easier, and people do show up different because while I show my vulnerability in a situation, let's say, it doesn't even matter what it is, and I show my authentic, real, raw self, that gives people permission to do the same. So I am better than, I'm not less than. We're just a team and we're doing this together, and there's no right or wrong. Really, really, I really just allow people to be where they're at, and they sense that. They sense that energy, because I'm not saying, well, you should, and this, and I stop shooting on myself, so I definitely don't shoot on anybody else, right? So I'm just allowing them to show up with the way they are, without judgment, where they're at, without judgment. I
But
don't
that's
want,
huge. How do
yeah,
you do
it is.
that? Like, most people are like, I can't stop judging. You're like, and they feel like they have to defend themselves or at least be really buttoned up at work.
Well, and that's what went away. There was no defense button because there was no wall, because I know what that wall looks like. I did it for many, many, many years, because I would get an assumption would be made, and I would defend, or I'd validate, or I'd explain. Like, it feels like I was just, how could, that's all there was. And now I'm shifted my energy, and I'm just being, and I'm just breathing through it, and I'm just really allowing. It's we talk about it. I call myself the corporate closet hippie because I know of these things, and I push them down so far to not, because somebody wouldn't understand it or something. Like, I am talking energy, I am talking woo woo. It doesn't, like, I'm screaming it from the mountaintop now because I believe in it and because it works. So people feel that energy where they don't have to get defensive, because I just really allow them to be where they're at. Like, I did not, and I do not speak about COVID very often, but I will say one thing about it. There was a lot of change that needed to happen. There was a lot to keep everybody safe, and I didn't judge anybody through that too, because everybody has their own capacity. So when I was able, and I let people know how I felt, or I'm scared, or I'm this, and I'm just really being truthful about how I feel about it, people would share with me. They would just, it's just a back and forth at that point. It's just energy flowing instead of manipulative, and we're going to do this. Like, it was just all the work that I've done, I believe, has led me to take my team through this unprecedented times. Like, there's a lot of change, and we're still going through some. But my team, I'm so proud of them, and I'm proud of them because I just allowed them to show up the way where they were at. That's it. It's that simple. I wasn't expecting
Amazing.
anything. I just allowed. There's more allowing, less controlling.
Ah, that's so good. So it
Yeah.
sounds like you learned how to listen, how to hold back and not be judgmental and just let people be where they are. It sounds like
Yeah.
you are bringing a lot of divine feminine into your dealership. How has it changed your business? Like, is your business growing because of it, or has it had any effect on um, profits? Or, because I know it was rough back when we first shut everything down, everything closed, and I went and bought a car because nobody was buying cars.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
was that?
Um, Again, I'm so proud of my team, and we did it together, and we went through it together, and the we didn't change a lot. I tried to make it as normal and as with the inventory levels, with the protocol, with the signing in, with all of those things. We just added it and kept going. We added something else and kept going. We added something else and kept going. So the energy and the culture is that of, okay, we trust each other. Jen's got this. Like, I did really feel that, okay, she's got it under control. She's going to be keeping us safe. They trusted me because I trusted them to follow it. Like, it wasn't a big, we just did it together. Like, we really did. And our numbers are good for what inventory we have. We're just adjusting this process to fit into it hasn't been hard, because I refuse to look at it like it's being hard.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's again, the way I changed the way I look at things. Like, I changed it. I didn't, it is what it is. I only can control the things I can control. That's the culture. That's the energy, lifting everybody up, and we all lift each other up, and it's been okay. And we're gonna keep going.
So it must create an environment and a culture of, inclusion and letting people be where they are and letting them have a life and a humanity. Would you say that's true? Because it sounds like you're really working with language, with how you express yourself. You're really not, you're putting aside stories of it's hard and saying it is what I say it is. It's going to be ease and flow because you say so.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's a big revelation, a big transformation, especially in a work environment. But it's so inspiring to hear you say that, because that's what I want to help people do in whatever environment they're in, as long as the upper, echelons would support it. Did you ever get any kickback, or not kickback, but flack from the people above you? Or are you the top person?
I'm one of the top people.
Okay.
But
anything from your partners?
So one of my things I'm most proud about is, so my brother, my younger brother and I are still partners within the company. There's been a few retirements over the last year and a half. So again, another change. He thanked me one day. He goes, Jenny, I just want to say thank you. And I said, for what? He goes, I am spending a little more time at home, and I just want to thank you for it, because all the work will still be here tomorrow. Like, I invited him to walk his children to school in the morning. What is going to happen if one morning out of the whole week you walk your children to school? They're not going to want you to walk them to school very much longer. Take time now and do it, and leave an hour early to help your wife with the dinner, because she has a whole other responsibilities at home. And just try it. And if you feel that it's the guilt because we were brought up 60 hours, we were brought up work and grind, we were brought up, that's the way we were brought up, that's all my dad knew as well. So it's not even any judgment or resentment towards it. That's just what he knew. He had to be the provider. He had to do that. He also didn't have as many partners, so he was doing it on his own. So It's just shifting that generational pattern. And that's really what I invite my guys to do, because I do all the scheduling, and I invite them to take a little bit of time off. Maybe we don't need a full floor because of our inventory. So again, what's right for you isn't right for them. I individually sat with them and said, what do you need at home? Do you need more support? Do you need this? And made a schedule around that. And I don't think that exists. It's just that those little tiny changes have really just had that trust, like you said, in the team, and we're doing this together. So I have one of my managers going off on parental leave. I'm encouraging it. His wife also has a very good position at work, and hers is a little different. Like, we want to have this, it almost is used too much, balance work, balance life. Well, I think a lot of people say it, but they don't really take action, or they don't have somebody at the top making it happen where it can actually be a reality. It doesn't have to, you work in this many hours and you have this much left for home. How do you have that you have to have enough for your family when you get home, for your kids, for your babies that are animals, whatever it is that you're coming home for? You have to still not be so pooped that you just jump in bed and you do the same thing on robot the next day. And are you serving anybody? Are you serving yourself? Are you serving even your coworkers that if you're always running ragged and you have no energy left and you're just on that hamster wheel? So
And that's a recipe for disaster. You're going to finally hit the wall and go, whoa, what's happening? You'll have a health crisis, or you'll get divorced, or some major thing will happen because you're not paying attention to you and what you really need and want.
Because we know it shows up in your body sometimes too. And I'm happy that I didn't have to get trauma or this health scare or anything. I just I went this. I know that this is not sustainable, and I have to do something different.
Yeah, incredible. What a light you are. I'm so excited. What is your plan for the future for yourself? Like, it sounds like you've learned so much yourself. You've come out of stress. You've learned how to handle things in a much different way. You're more at ease with yourself and with what's going on. What's your plan or your vision?
My vision is to continue doing what I'm doing, to continue my practice, to continue practicing this new muscle. It's an attitudinal muscle.
Yeah.
And it's just continue to lead with love. I don't have any set goals other than saying yes to myself. I am diving into the fact that this used to be very uncomfortable for me to do this with you. There's still a little bit of nervousness there. I'm saying yes to it. I don't know where that's going to lead me. I just really want to share as much as I can with any woman that's out there that has climbed the ladder, that are in these positions, to just question it before they leave, that maybe I can stay. I just have to change. And I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing at work. I'm going to continue leading my team and leading the dealership, and just be able to join more groups, women groups, networking groups, whatever it is that I can, to just continue diving into and connecting with women. To anybody will listen, share my story, give them a couple tips. I'm walking the walk, so I don't think that I could have before now really unapologetically am me. It really makes a difference, and I just hope that I could just share with women that are contemplating maybe having to leave, but maybe just ask yourself, should I stay? Because they all loved what they did.
Yeah.
They just didn't, it wasn't sustainable. So they chose to leave instead of stay. I got to try to get more people. I would love to just to help more women stay. That's it.
Yeah, because what a terrible thing to have all these women all of a sudden leave all these corporations. I mean, that's going to change the culture too. We need more women in businesses, because we are here, in my view, we're here to transform business. We're here to transform and create a culture that you've created in your business. And so it's really exciting to me that you utilize your own intuition. You've combined your spirituality with your business, and you're not and it's unapologetic. You don't worry about people judging you for that. And that's so inspiring. I think more people really need to hear your message.
Well, I'm not saying no to anything, so I got to be careful with that, because I could burn out. So I got to be kind of like,
right. Well, but you probably won't, because you'll see the signs before it happens. You're going to feel it. You're going to be like, wow, I'm doing these speaking gigs and I'm doing my job still. You never know how the universe has a plan for you to make it all work. So you're taken care of, as well as being about, what you need to do in order to help elevate others.
Yeah.
We don't know. This is what's so great about transformation. It's like, well, we create it the way we desire it to be. So if you say, I want to take, one day off a week to go and do my speaking, or, coach people, or whatever you choose to do, then somehow that's going to work, and it's going to be to the benefit of everyone, because there's no sacrifice in this. It really isn't. When you start to listen to that intuition, they want you to be healed, so that you can spread that light into the world in whatever form, in whatever environment. At least that's my philosophy.
No, and that's hard work too, because it takes a lot of allowing and trusting. And
Yeah.
that's all I'm doing. And I'm going to follow the breadcrumbs, and I'm going to follow the synchronicities, and I'm going to follow the people that come into my life like you, and the conversations, and open that up, and we'll see. And not rigidly attached to anything. I'm just open to and allowing whatever the universe has for me. I'm going to listen.
Do you encourage, I think that's so fantastic, but do you encourage your employees to do the kind of work that you've done? Like, do you help, hey, this retreat really worked for me. You might want to take a look. Do you do anything like that in terms of encouraging them? Or have you thought about it?
No, I was hiding it for such a long time. Like I said, I was in the closet. Like I was really, really hiding it for a long time because I was too worried about what other people thought, or they wouldn't understand, or I would be misunderstood. And again, that's all self-worth, and that's all self-confidence, and all the things that eventually I built up in myself. So now that I'm openly talking about it, having conversations, because I just have that trust and that knowing that everything is going to be the way it's supposed to be, and everything always works out for me. I stopped thinking for a long time, and they stopped working out for me. But I just really encourage people in walking the walk. I encourage people in shining my light. I encourage people in just being an example, leading by example. That's how I am encouraging people. And of course, I don't push it on anybody, but if anybody asks me questions, I have the conversation with them. If anybody asks me what I do for my morning routine, I lay out my morning routine. That might not work for you. I really encourage them in being the example. If anybody actually asks for that accountability or whatever it is, I'm there for it. But really, I would like to eventually, there's another little vision of mine that's not going away, is to create a space in the dealership that you can go. I don't know if I'd call it a meditation room, maybe a time room. No, it's like a quiet space or something. I don't know what the name of that is, but really start bringing that into the dealership, because how important breaks are, and how important breath work is, and how important is just to reset and then go back out to the showroom or to the service or to wherever it is that your space, just a reset is so important too. So eventually I will get there. But I love giving away books too. I'm going to actually probably purchase a bunch of your books, Monica, and give them out, because that's just little soft ways of introducing it without being, and Return to Love with Marianne Williamson. That was one that I passed around to the ladies. But they're opening up because I'm so open and wide open unconditionally, and just love unconditionally. That's also a way that I'm that just is, I'm just showing up for them, whatever way they need it. And
it's so great.
Yeah.
It's like you're a servant leader. You're really taking this on to help other people in your business, and men too, I'm sure. A lot of them don't know how to, feel comfortable expressing their feelings, and they're just, bounding through things, when in fact they do need to do that as well, that deep work in their heart.
Yep.
You feel that way too? Have you influenced men in your life there too?
Ask that again.
Have you influenced the men in your life there too?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's again, not pushing, just allowing. And then when someone will come up to me and say, Jenny, you'll be so proud of me. So this happened, this happens, and I didn't react. I know it's working. So they'll come up to me afterwards, because it's practice. And when you're conditioned into doing something for 35, 45, whatever, however old you are, it takes unlearning. And it's like that trigger or that knee-jerk reaction. That's just because it's the only thing that you know. So it's just like that peeling. It's just unlearning all those things to then rewire your thoughts and rewire your brain, that you can't control any external factors. You can only control the way you respond to them, not react. So the men, I'm not holding back, so they're not holding back. Because again, I'm not in that closet anymore. I'm not hiding going, woo woo is Jenny over here. And then it's almost like I live two lives. I've incorporated my spirituality with my tough, and I try to explain it. This is the first time I'm having this conversation, so I'm
You're
putting
doing
in
great.
that light with that armor, and it's like even more powerful because it just, again, it's like it's that balance
Yes, the
that
divine
we need.
feminine and masculine, like the very, powerful leader, and the
Yeah,
feminine that's able to allow and let things be at ease and grace. And we do need to balance both of those energies out.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah,
So great. So, one more thing. It's been an extraordinary conversation, and we could probably go for hours like we did the first time.
yeah,
But I want to just keep it to the idea that business and spirituality go together. And this is the message of this whole podcast. Well, it's going to be a podcast, healing the minds of women leaders so that we can really step into leadership with compassion and with the awareness that we're not going to be perfect. We're not going to have our stuff all put together all the time. And we don't need to, because now there's going to be a culture of like, we're creating a culture of acceptance and elevation through acceptance and inclusion. Would you concur with that idea?
yes, and that's why we need to keep these women in these positions because they have a
Mhm.
seat at the table. They're the ones who can influence it, and
Right.
have to say a lot of men, I mean a lot of men, and it's kind of surprising they're talking the way we are talking. So it's a whole
Mhm.
paradigm shift. Like men are, because if we're going to collaborate instead of this competition that we can sometimes have,
Mhm.
the men need to be on board with it too. So maybe I think you're onto some. It's starting at that executive level, and it's both
Mhm.
the men and the women, because men just haven't had the opportunity to share that they're feeling and talking about the same stuff we're talking to about. They're just
Really?
doing it. They don't, you probably have a buddy that they can do it with. So maybe they're going to do it with Jenny. Maybe they'll do it with Monica on your next podcast. Men
Right.
are, I'm feeling that. And I'm so super, super excited for that because it will take us both. It's not like an us, them. When I stopped looking at it like a competition or that somebody was competing with me, and it's more of that flow that it takes both of us. They have so many strengths, we have so many strengths. They have their weaknesses, we have our weaknesses. And bringing in that just spirituality and rawness and humanity, and like, and talking about feel like we're all just trying to be the best versions of ourselves, and that's men included. We need to, there's I get, again, I'm super uh excited, but yet surprised that there are men having these conversations because I'm opening it up to it too, right? And you're talking to men. I'm sure you're talking to men about this too.
Well,
That's
they're
not,
starting to show up in my clubhouse rooms. I was so excited because it's like, we want to hear from you. What's it like to have a powerful woman as a wife? Like one of the guys that keeps showing up, he's from the Middle East, and he keeps coming in and he says, my wife is a surgeon and I support her totally. I do a lot, with the kids because I want her to have her power. I don't want to take that from her. And he's from the Middle East. It's
yeah,
like one of these things, like I just like so excited to have him speak that way. And he's done a lot of deep work on himself. He's just a beautiful guy. He was on a LinkedIn
yeah,
live with me or a Instagram live with me recently. And I had such a heart
that's
connection
so
with him because
beautiful.
I was so grateful to hear that. I think it's going to take both men and women to come
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
our paradigm, and
yeah.
shift this so that we're all much more real and much more
Take
authentic.
the armor off. Just take
Mm,
it off. And that's not, it's over time. And it's taking that armor off and stop being somebody who we think the world wants us to be, and just be yourself. And that is something we should start also. And this is going to be a whole other eventual that we have to, and I'm doing it with my children, but we have to teach them at 14 instead, so they don't have to wait till they're 44. We have to
yeah,
teach them at 4, and so they don't have to wait. Like, that's that
right.
generational pattern again, that we get to teach our next generation that balance, that it's not, that's not, what is your definition of success? It's not the same for everybody. It isn't about grind and grind and hustle and hustle.
No.
Yeah.
It's like getting into your state of being that's balanced and flowing and, focused and on
Mhm.
task and powerful. Because I think you have a lot more power when you're coming from that energy rather than
Yeah.
fighting or being competitive. So I was going to ask you about your children because you just mentioned them, and my kids are grown. They're 30 and 27. They're two beautiful boys, And I'm so grateful that I actually was going through deep transformation when I was raising them, because they're extraordinary. But I would really venture to say that your kids, how old are they?
They are 17 and 14.
Okay. So they're
Yeah.
about to head out into the world too.
Yeah. One's good. We're going to start applying for university,
Mhm.
and the other one just started into high school. So they're beautiful. They've seen two humans in their mother and their dad, both powerful positions, both leaders, supporting one another, not competing with each other, and really giving each other that space. That's all I wanted for my children to see, is that that this is, I say this to them all the time, you can be, do, and have anything that you want. You just have to decide what it is what makes your heart sing. Work should not feel like I got to go punch in and punch out. And it did feel that way for a long time, because I was not myself doing it.
Mhm.
It should be an extension of your life. And I just want them to be of service, and I want them to do something that makes their heart sing. And we've shown them that growing up, from little, when maybe mom wasn't around all the time. There was no guilt for me, because we loved them so much, and we explained it, and we shared with it, and we had it really helps. And not a lot of people have this, but we had a huge support system around us.
Mm.
Because I always say my husband and I couldn't be the crazy kids that we were without that support system to be able to really do what we do. But I cannot wait to see. I can't wait till they're your children's age and see what
It's
it is that they decided to do with their
yeah.
beautiful.
I have to say, for me, it was delightful to see them grow up and be sensitive, mature, very loving children, and boys, actually, young men. I mean, 30 and 27. I'm shocked
Yeah.
that they're this old, because
Yeah.
I don't feel a day over 40 myself. But you know what I mean? Like, the more you do this work, the younger you feel and the more alive you are, more in your element, because you're working in your purpose and you're doing what you love to do.
Yes.
Yeah. Fabulous. Well, I want to thank you so much. What an extraordinary conversation. And I'm sure we'll have to do it again soon.
We will. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll head over to Instagram or
Yeah.
whatever that looks like, and whatever. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I really do appreciate, and I'm grateful for this opportunity, because I found my voice, and now I have to use it, because I feel like I have a responsibility, and I really just want to be of service, and I just want to help anybody grow, and really the only way I can do that is speaking it
Yeah.
out loud.
It's true. Coming
Yeah.
out of the closet. Don't
Yeah.
be the closet hippie anymore.
No more in the closet. She's running. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jenny.
Oh, thank you.
A delight to talk with you again and
Thank
to
you.
bring this out into the world and share it with everyone. I think it's extraordinary what you're doing and who you're being.
Oh, thank you.
So you are totally a light in this world. So thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you.
Appreciate
I'll
it.
see you in a room soon.
I'll see you in Clubhouse. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Have a
great.
great
Thank
night. Thank
you.
you.